Good morning, folks. Welcome into another Fantasy Map Friday. Oh, the best stream format to kick off 2026. Sung Moon, hello, hello. Haven't seen you since last year, huh? Been a minute. How you doing? Welcome in. Glad to have you back. Starting off the year right here, ready to do some streaming. Sounds pretty good to me. I hope you had a good New Year's, good celebrations. Let me know. I'm going to double check all my controls over here, make sure we're looking good, sounding good. I messed with the stream settings yesterday, so if something sounds off, let me know. And you might notice a few changes around the stream, just some small stuff, but hey, you know what we're doing today? My favorite stream of the week. Let's get on it. And we have some changes here in Incarnate as well. Abby, he, him work just fine, and welcome in. Glad to have you. There's a whole new Incarnate update. They got all these great new features in here, like auto-saving, for one. We got autosave active, so I'm very excited about that. But just some new layers and whatnot. It's gonna be difficult to apply them to an existing map, but I've done my best to get them all going on this one. I think we should be all right to try all these new features. It's gonna be fun. Meg H, good morning, good morning. You said another update? What do you mean by that? Another update on what? And Sung Moon, you said, I hate fireworks and New Year's Eve, but we spent it at home, so I ended up having a good time. Ah, rock and roll. Glad to hear it, Sung Moon. Sorry about the fireworks. That can be annoying, I know. But it sounds like you did it right. Meg, yes, yeah. So I guess they had rolled out Incarnate 2.0 a while ago. I'm not sure if I had access to the full suite of features then, but I've messed around with it, and I definitely do now. So we have a whole bunch of new things to play with. It'll be interesting. But first, I've noticed I got to put some rivers in right here in these mountains. I spotted that when I was messing with the map, getting it ready for stream, and I was like, okay, hold on, we got to get in there and we got to do that. Yeah, see, here's one of the changes right here. Notice the brush? So easy to see now. They gave it a nice little outline and everything. So, now when it's super small, you can see it, and we can put these rivers in. Also, really, really nice layering tools now. It's going to be awesome. Very excited. Need to put my phone on Do Not Disturb because I forgot, and I see notifications coming in. Lachlan, welcome in, my friend. The book is actually already out. We're making the map after the fact. But here you go. Here's the book. It's called Wriggly Little Hands, and it's a comedy fantasy about goblins on a road trip to retrieve the Dark Lord's doomsday weapon and help him defeat those pesky forces of good. But they're goblins, so they mess it up. They get distracted. They go in completely opposite directions, and it just gets wilder from there. If you're interested, it's linked in my bio. Please feel free to check it out. And this is the map for it. At least that, as it stands now, we're still working on things. Chico, the song is linked in my bio, in the stream playlist, I believe. Should be like the last link in my link tree. I have a little playlist up and going. Shout out to Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com for his royalty-free music. Oh boy, that river's a little bit bigger than I wanted it to be. Should be smooth. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's the tool we need. Alright, so we're going to do a rough cut of the rivers right here. Then when I remove the overlapping layer, we should be able to see how they came out. There we go. So let's move the stencil from our other map. Guess I'm a Minecraft dad. Goblins with full-grown orc energy. Yeah, man, that's pretty spot on. That's pretty spot on. There are also orcs in it. Alright, so that brush size was way too small. We gotta do something. Wow, it's so much smoother on this Incarnate 2.0. There's no There's no like jagged little edges. That's pretty smooth. I don't think that those rivers exactly match up with what we were going for. But let's see. Let's overlay it again. That's okay. It's alright. I do see one mistake in there, so we'll fix that. This is a little minute detail. Don't mind me being pedantic about it. It's supposed to be like that. There we go. Okay. Jack Ann, welcome in. Good to see you. Happy Friday. How you doing? Your average crybaby says, add a graveyard. I'm sure we'll get one in here somewhere. That'll be a fun region to add. Right now, we're kind of working on the geologic scale. Maybe a little bit bigger than that. We're doing mountains and rivers, etc., etc. Jack Ann, you said you've lost all meaning of time in the thralls of dreaded plague. Oh, I'm sorry, you sick. I hope you feel better soon. Hey, hang out with us on stream today, and kick back. Maybe you can begin your rest, your recovery. All right, y'all, I got a big question for you. Where are we going to work on the map today? What region do we want to do? I'm happy to take suggestions. Last week we worked on, 2 weeks ago, we worked on this peninsula here, which we put like this big plateau and this like fertile little crater in the middle of it. It's probably a little bit of polishing due over there, but I don't know. We got the desert we could work on. What do you think? Where do you want to go? Let me know. Joey, you said beautiful map. Thank you, my friend, and welcome in. Where's the giant dragon? There is a dragon canonically in this book. It lives somewhere down here in the desert, so we'll add her cave in a little bit. Yeah, Sung Moon, they did price hike Incarnate with this update. They brought a lot of good features, and I think you can still try it for free. I need to double check. Oh, check over here. There we go. The /5 over on Video App, you said you should make like a secret forest types, like Zelda. Could see that. Oh, there's definitely a Goblin Kingdom. Or not kingdom, but where they begin at least. This swamp is where they begin, somewhere right around in here. Where they start their book. Tom Rack, you said, is that the Middle East and the Black Sea? It is not. It is not inspired by any real-world geography, aside from the fact that the island of Cyprus is in here, because my family's from there, and we throw it in as Easter eggs. So that's the only real-world inspiration. Fei Jin, welcome back. Good to see you. The purple area is a little place called the Fungal Jungle. Chat had me make that. So if we go to this map, this is the original map we made for the book, but it only covers a small region. You'll see if you look at it there, and then you look at this map, here is that map, and it overlays onto this one. But you can see we have a lot more world we're building now. So that purple area is a mushroom jungle, essentially, right in here. Chat wanted that one made, so we did it. That'll be a fun region to finish up. Wavy, we have made this on Incarnate.com. I'll put it in chat for you. It is an online map maker. Slash, you said add a cursed Walmart. Not gonna lie, man. That's very on brand. I mean, look, this is the book. I mean, cursed Walmart's kind of on brand. Maybe we do have to sneak one of those in there, huh? What was that? Tyler? No, this is Incarnate, not Wonderdraft, but pretty close. Pretty close, man. Similar programs for sure. Thank you for the follow. Anthony, I am not really. I mean, I like cartography. I like looking at maps and geography, but I don't do them. You know, I don't do them professionally or anything. I enjoy this as a way to relax and also to make maps for my books. It's a lot of fun. The mushrooms, Sung Moon, are from. Let's see what pack they're from. I think they're from. Let's see, catalog. I believe they're from Fantasy World, is where they came from. Let's double check that. Yeah, they came from the Fantasy World map pack. Oh, thank you, Tyler. I appreciate that. For your compliments on the book or on the map and on the books. Joey, you agree with Sung Moon on working on the desert today? All right, y'all. You want to get sandy? We can get sandy today. So a little overview of the desert as it stands now. We have this big canyon down the middle of it. There's not a lot of lore made for the desert. There's a very little bit from book 1. They briefly go there. But really, this is kind of a blank slate for us to work with. So we have this big canyon that's supposed to have like kind of a dried up water way in the inside of it. I'm not sure if it looks too good now. We can work on it. The rest of the desert is totally open to whatever we want to do, except for this gap in the mountains here, where all the trapped humid air of this Amazon region flows through and makes this little outspur a little bit fertile. So other than that, this desert's totally up to us to do whatever we want to do with it. Alright, no need to spam chat. I can't read your name, but you said, is there a giant random labyrinth somewhere in the world? Yeah, we could work something like that in there. That'd be a fun little thing. I mean, this world is a fantasy comedy world, so we're allowed to do whatever we want, really. Wavy and DJ, you said, what's the book about? Well, thank you for asking. Here it is. It's out now. It's linked in my bio if you want to read it. But it's a comedy fantasy about goblins on a road trip trying to retrieve the Dark Lord's doomsday weapon because they're going to help them defeat those pesky forces of good. But they're goblins. They're not very good at doing things. They're not good at staying on task or achieving their goals and such. Everything goes off the rails. If that sounds interesting, please check it out in the bio. It's a lot of fun, in my opinion. It's also an audiobook, paperback, ebook, any format you want. Where's Lily? You said, what app is this? It's Incarnate. Thank you for asking. Slash, I appreciate the comment. You said it's a nice book. And you asked, do I have a volcano region? So we do. I haven't fleshed it out yet. You can see there's a stamp here that's just like my placeholder volcano. If we look at the original map, the smaller one, this is the Dark Lord's legally distinct Mordor. And yeah, there's a nice big old volcano right there in the middle of it. But on the full map, we haven't finished fleshing it out. It's just a little placeholder for sure. All right, so you guys, chat kind of said desert, so desert, we'll work on that. Deserts are tough, y'all. Deserts are tough. It's hard to make interesting geography in there, but we did this map recently for fun. It's just kind of a side quest, and we got some desert in here that was interesting. We got a little oasis. It's always a nice detail to add. Some sand dunes. This like barren forest of dead trees. It was pretty cool. And then these big rock outshoots. So I think that was a good experiment in how to make deserts interesting. So we'll bring some of that to our desert today. Yeah, you're exactly right, Titanhold. Lots of nothing in deserts. Ooh, Joey, that sounds awesome, man. Windy canyons carved by rivers with people living in the valley walls. Hey, we have this big old canyon in here. That could be the vibe for that, right? That's pretty sick. I'm a fan of that. The Story Lab over on Video App asked, what sales figures do you average per book, as in copies sold? I was tracking that data pretty closely. It's gotten to be too burdensome to track, but I would say Wriggly Little Hands, the book this map is for. There you go. This is probably in the thousands of copies sold right now, probably in the 2,000 to 3,000s. My most popular book is in the 15,000 copies sold. Kina, you said you saw me working on this like 6 months ago. Well, it probably wasn't this one. It was probably one of my other maps. It could have been this guy. Could have been this one. We do a map every Friday here. So every Friday we'll be working on a map. This one we've been working on for 5 streams now. So roughly 5 Fridays. Rose, we're making it on Incarnate. Incarnate. I'll put it in chat for you there. Come on, Alex. What are words? Ollie, you said, can you have a quick blurb on the book? Yeah, for sure. So here's the cover. And it's about a bumbling family of goblins on a quest to retrieve the Dark Lord's doomsday weapon to help him defeat those pesky forces of good. But they're goblins, so they mess it up in a variety of creative and crazy ways. And it's linked in bio if you want to read more. But we got to get to some map making. I've been talking a lot. Let's do some mapping. I think we got to think about what things to have in a desert, right? I kind of want to start from right here. Because the lore here, so these tall mountains are based on the Andes. And if you look at the Andes Mountains, they contain the Amazon River, the Amazon rainforest to their east. And they're so tall, they hold in all the moist air, and they create that incredibly lush environment. But that means on their other side, it's very dry and deserty. So I thought it would be a cool concept to have, except there's a gap in the mountains right here, and some of that moisture flows through. So I think this area should be a little bit of like a fertile area from all that moisture that's coming through. So that's kind of what we're highlighting here. But now, how do we show that more? Like, what do we put in there? Maybe some trees. Let's get some swampy trees in there. That could actually be really cool. That's a good place to start. I know they got like willow trees, and those look very swampy to me. They kind of look like they're draped with moss. All right, so we're going to put one for the moment, because I'm going to go over to my other trees, and I want to make sure that we're on the same size. I think similar size. Similar scale. They're a little bit big, maybe, compared to my other trees. Yeah, they're on 146 scale instead of 122. So we're going to size these down a bit. Match their size. There we go. That's a little trick to keep things consistent across the map. Because it's easy to work in one area and not notice you're making things bigger than another area. And then when you zoom out, none of it makes sense. Quaya, this is the paid version of Incarnate. Yes, I have the pro version. All right, so now let's do a cool little trick we like to do here. We can place multiple trees at once. That density is probably a bit high. That's probably a bit low. I'm going to start by just plopping a whole bunch of trees down. And now we're going to move them individually. Sung Moon, you said the amount of detail I put in here is too much. You could never. You just gotta, just kind of have fun with it, Get there step by step. I am a little bit OCD about the detail, though, and that slows me down on my completion rate, I'm sure. I think we also probably need some hills in this little gap here. Ooh, it'd be cool. Let's have these willow trees, these swampy trees. Yeah, you can see the full map. I'll zoom out for you real quick. I'm going to have the swampy trees in the fertile, humid region. And then where the line with the desert begins, I'm going to put some dead trees in there. I think that'd be a cool way to show the divide between them. So let's go ahead and grab some of those dead trees as well. That's going to be this guy right here. And we'll just plop them down for the moment. But let's get our swampy trees in the humid region. The program is Incarnate that we're using to make this. It is an online map maker. Joe on Video App, welcome in, my friend. Good to have you. X Love on Video App. Yeah, there'll be knights and kingdoms and fun stuff in here. The way I make the maps is I start with coastlines, right? So almost like continents. We carve out coastlines, then I put in mountains, then rivers, then hills, canyons, trees, that sort of stuff. And one of the last things we do is make the, kingdoms, cities, etc. So we're really still on the geographic scale. We're not at the cities, kingdoms scale. I don't know, the political scale, you maybe call that? I'm not sure. All right, so I'm going to do these swampy trees, and then I'm going to intersperse in some regular trees. And also we got these dead trees we wanted to do around the sides. I think that's going to be fun. Let's make sure those are the right size. They are. They are scaled to 122%, which is the scale we're using for our trees. I kind of liked that one there. Sorry, tree, I deleted you. Jaffa, I don't actually like line up all the tectonic plates and stuff. It's just more of I'm thinking on the scale of let's start by putting in coastlines, continents, etc. I'm wondering if I should put in a little bit of a waterway mixed in here. Could be kind of fun. Like a little lake or something. Theoretically, the rivers are flowing east from the mountains and on down. But we could have a little lake or something in here. Could be interesting. Does it make sense? I'm not sure. Would it be fun? Yes. Let's go to like size 3. We're just gonna put a little lake in here. Maybe kind of like a swampy type vibe. Let's try that for a minute. That could be cool. Let's get those trees out of there so we can touch up that water. I'm just a big swamp fan, y'all. I love a good wetland. I'm sure they're overrepresented on my maps. Oh, that was terrible. That didn't look natural at all. Let's do something kind of like that. And maybe widen this little branch a bit. And I want this one to cut through. But, more natural-like. Alright, and now it's going to look good when I move these trees back in. It kind of chops it up, hides it a bit. There we go. I like that. Maybe it's a little bit dense, and there's not trees around it, so it looks a little like the outside of the main area that we're working outside of right here. There's not trees yet, but it'll look better once we get more trees in there. For those asking, we are making this in Inkarnate. It is an online map maker. Maybe still a little too dense with these trees. I'm going to thin them out a bit. Thank you for the follows, everybody. I appreciate you. We do this every Friday for the map making, so feel free to come on back for the next one. We'd love to have you. All right, I'm going to put a few more of these swampy trees in the pass here because a bit of a reminder for myself. This whole area is going to be like the Amazon rainforest, so this whole big river network is going to be filled with swampy trees. I love how that little region looks, though. Maybe we need to change this border with a different brush. It looks a little bit too stark on the divide, which is one of the new features of Inkarnate. There are different brushes now. I'm typically pretty bad when it comes to brushes, though. Let's see, where are my favorited brushes? There we go, favorites. So I can find my sand color, which let's just test and make sure. Yep, we're painting the foreground, I think. With this massive update to Inkarnate, I'm still learning a few of the new things. No, I was painting the background with that. All right, how do we change this to paint foreground? Sergey, you said, do I have any writing advice? You've been trying to finish the first chapter on this book for a while now. Have fun. Write to entertain yourself first. You got to do that first. before anybody else has fun with it. So don't worry, don't put any pressure or stress on yourself. Just write to have fun, to entertain yourself first of all. Try that, and don't worry about like, oh, I got to finish the whole book or whatever. Just have fun with it. So got to start there. Elliot, I did not draw these. These are mostly preloaded stamps in the map making program, which I love. It makes it super easy for anybody to use. Okay, so I'm painting on the wrong layer right now. So here, let me show you my issue. I'm painting on the water, but you see how it doesn't paint over the land? That's because I'm painting on the background. I used to know how to change that, but they just updated everything, so a couple of my controls are in different places. How do I paint on the foreground? Here, maybe y'all can help me find it. Let's pull my controls over here. You can see it. If you see anything that seems to indicate changing it to paint on foreground, let me know. Oh, not that one. There we go. Brush size, opacity, softness. Obviously not those. It's not brush settings. The color's parchment. This is all color settings. That's texture. Texture placement. It's not going to be that. It's not going to be tweak colors. It's not going to be texture scale. It's not rotation. It's not in favorites. That's my colors. So how do I change this? Do I need to go to like layers maybe? Oh, hold on. We got it. It's over here, guys. It's on the layers panel. You got to click foreground over here. Okay, we figured it out. Let's go back to our normal view. And now we can start painting our desert. As soon as we find what color it's in. I think it's not that one. It's not that one. What color is the desert? Penguin Bread, what's up? Welcome back in. Hard to forget a name like that. Local, welcome back as well. Good to see ya. Alright, I don't know why I'm having trouble finding this color. We might have just changed it. The simple answer might be to change the desert color. Or is it a lower opacity? Is that what it was? Well, we're just going to change this one anyway. So this is going to be our new desert color, if you can see that. Maybe we up the opacity a little bit. There we go. Do we think that's going to look good? Let's just take a look. How's that look as our desert? I think that looks pretty good. The true color doesn't quite come through on stream. It's a little more yellow than it looks like there. I think I'm a fan of that, though. So let's go ahead and favorite that. And that color is called... I'm not sure. Again, they changed a few things. Here we go. It's called Parchment. Rose, I like your ideas for the kind of ruins, kind of old ruin vibes. That's gonna be a fun thing to put in there for sure. All right, so now I'm gonna go along the edges here and kind of do this divide, this fade. In fact, the best way to do it is to make your brush really big, like this, and then we need to drag it along the edge because it'll give it a smoother fade. Now, there are brush settings that you could change to manually do this. I'm just bad with brushes, so I've just kind of learned how to do it a different way. See, now we've got a decent fade between the swampy and the desert region. Sung Moon calling me out. The never-ending cycle of not finding the color and then just changing it. No, I've never done that before. What are you talking about? Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, welcome back in, my guy. This is for Wriggly Little Hands. You're familiar with this book, but this is the book we're making the map for. It's out now. It's linked in my bio. If you like goblins going on ridiculous adventures and messing them all up, give it a look. You might enjoy it. Y'all, I was about to say I should go ahead and save the map, but one of the new upgrades to Inkarnate 2.0, autosave. I don't got to do it anymore. It's got me covered. Rose, I stream every Friday at 7 a.m. Central. Well, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m. Central. But Fridays specifically are our map streams. Okay, I like kind of what we're doing here with our dead trees. You know, the swampy trees going into the dead trees. I think that's a fun concept. I think the spacing needs to be a bit better on some of the trees. Maybe a few too many of them. Yeah, I think that's what it was. There's just a couple too many in there. Do something like that. There we go. I'm a fan. We make this on Incarnate, user who does not have a username. And SNSHH over on Video App. Hello. Welcome in. Glad to have you. Sergey, I do have a Discord. It's linked in my bio. Feel free to join. We'd love to have you. Batman, you said there's no specific color for the desert. I just try to keep it consistent with the color I've used in the past. And somehow I always manage to lose the color. I don't know how. Oh, Fat Frog, you love the coffee mug? I was waiting until someone commented on that. It's the new one. Just looks like a coffee carafe. You could have just pulled it right off the coffee maker, right? His stick, you said, his sticks, will there be any factions? There are factions in here. We will put those in later. Right now we're doing the geography, you know, coastlines, rivers, mountains, climate, all that stuff. Ooh, Batman, you said can't you use the eyedropper tool? I think, hold on, I think they put an eyedropper tool in as part of the update, right? Can I find it is the question. I don't see it in here. It's not in the filters. Maybe it's a color. If I go to colors, nope, don't see it there. I'm sure there's an eyedropper tool. I had seen it and gotten excited about it and then immediately forgot where it is. Big success. Yeah, I'm sure it's in here somewhere. Kind of reminds you of Egypt at the bottom, Middle East at the east, and Turkey at the top. Ah, I could see that. I could see that. Any tips on dispersing biomes? Asked Unlucky. I try to do dividing lines of some sort. So, like, it's hard in a region like... Let me grab another map. That's not a good one. Here we go. We'll use this one. It's hard to... This is like plains, the gray area, and then you kind of have forest going on up here, right? I just typically do a gentle fade of the background color to indicate a change of region. And then put in different trees or hills or whatever. But if you can't, like, that's the hard way to do it. The easy way is to kind of like have a defining geographic feature that makes the border, like this canyon, right? So these plains are like higher elevation, and then you descend down into this jungle, or you just have a river. That's the kind of the easy ways to do it. But each biome that you're separating is kind of different. You can see here, I still haven't really delineated how these are separate yet. I just blended the colors a little bit. Alright, I'm gonna grab my desert brush again, and we're gonna turn its opacity down a bit, and I'm gonna just do a couple light clicks on low opacity over this green to kind of soften it up. I want to mix the desert and the green together. I think I did a few too many, so we'll grab the green again, and we're going to do a few low opacity clicks with the green as well. See how it just kind of smears that together a little bit? A mixing of the biomes. Everybody's telling me what map it reminds them of in there. I'm seeing Hogwarts Legacy, Kingdom Come Deliver... wait, did you say Kingdom Come? And then Avatar. I'll take all that, man. I get Elden Ring a lot as well. Here's a full map zoom out. I don't know if we've done that in a minute, just to show everybody. There you go. We're working on it. We're getting there. Chat voted that today we're working on the desert, so on the desert we work. I think the coastline needs some shaping in the desert. I'm not in love with it, especially this little cut here doesn't really make a lot of sense. So let's jump in there. Penguin, we'll definitely put some cactus in here. Yeah, for sure, we gotta do that. So we're gonna go to our land tool, and we're gonna add a bit of land. Let's go to brush size like 10. And we're just gonna put a little bit of land in here. And then I'm gonna go to the land subtraction tool, and I'm gonna turn this into like a little kind of channel, like a cut. That's maybe a bit too much, so we're going to go back to the Add Land tool, and we're going to shave off some of the sides of this bad boy. And then maybe take away a little bit right here. I kind of want it to be like a bay, right? I'm kind of thinking in my mind, so this old map that we worked on, kind of something like this. This like big cut through the land. I think that'd be fun. Room and Bard, that's a funny name. We are doing this in Inkarnate. I'll put it in chat for you. It's an online map maker. Be cool to have a city at the end of this. Yeah, it would. It would. We're not placing cities just yet, but it's going to be a great spot for one. We'll keep that in mind for when we do place our cities. I'm gonna wipe that away. I think that looks better. Maybe it would make it a little offshoot. Might make it look good too. Thank you for the follows, y'all. I appreciate that. I'm hearing all those come in. Yeah, I kind of like that. I don't know. When I zoom out, though, it looks a little bit unnatural. What do we think? RP21, we are making this in Inkarnate. It is an online map maker. And for y'all that are just joining, thank you for joining. Thank you for the follows. And the backstory, we're making this map for my book. It's this book right here. It's out now, linked in my bio. It's about a bumbling family of goblins on a quest for the Dark Lord to retrieve his doomsday weapon and help him defeat those pesky forces of good. Except they're goblins. So you know they're going to mess it up. They're going to get distracted, go on side quests, generally make a mess of everything. So if that sounds interesting, it's linked in my bio. Please give it a look. I'd appreciate it. Oh, Sergey, you said who made the art for the book? Shout out to Ivan Shavrin, my cover artist for this. He is an absolute whiz with a paintbrush. I love that dude. I'm hiring him for as many books as I can. All right, so someone said an oasis. And I am such a sucker for a good oasis in the desert, so y'all, you know we're putting an oasis in here. Let's go. I'm going to get on the rough land subtraction tool. So now, see how it's a circle, but when I click, it's going to randomly roughen the edges. So I'm going to use that to start my oasis, and then we'll manually shape it up. Mag, thank you. I'm glad you like the art. I will pass along the compliments to Ivan. He's the real deal when it comes to art. Where do we think this oasis should go? I'm kind of tempted to do it right here, like at the end of the canyon. My only concern is that kind of divides up the land, east to west. In order to travel around the canyon, you'd have to come all the way down to the edge of the oasis, and I'm not sure I'm a fan of that. Maybe we just put the oasis more like here-ish. I think that could be cool. Benji, I do not make my my own brush templates. I'm really bad with brushes. Ed Hunt, we're using Inkarnate to make this. It is an online map maker. I just put it in chat for you. It's a very good program. I have a lot of fun with it. All right, I'm pretty okay with the oasis around here. So now we're gonna go to our smooth subtraction tool, and we're gonna shape up the edge of the oasis how we want it. I'm gonna look at my last oasis that I made. It was this one right here. Why does this look good? Why do I like this? I feel like it's kind of like a lake, but a little bit oblong. So maybe we follow that vibe, and then we put some palm trees around it again. It's pretty simple, right? If anybody knows, Charlie White has asked, they're new to TikTok, they're on an Android phone. How do you hide comments while watching a live? I think it's a press and hold. Oh, there you go. Lines and Lore's editorial, thank you. Swipe right on the screen. You are amazing. Thank you very much for that. I was like, I know there's a way to do this. And thank you for being here, everybody. I appreciate you. Thank you for the follows. I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m. Always doing something fantasy-focused. And if you don't know, I am a full-time author. Writing and selling books is how I survive. So if you ever have questions about reading, writing, publishing, the industry, all that stuff, please feel free to ask. I'm always happy to talk about that with y'all. I'm still not loving the shape of the Oasis. I'm gonna start again. It's just like a vibe, you know. You just gotta kind of feel it. You kind of gotta feel it out. So let's just. Okay, that might be a bit big, but I think that's kind of a good start to it. I don't want to cut all the edges out. You know, I don't want to shave them down. I want to smooth them a bit, but I don't want to lose that natural kind of randomness around the edges. I do like that, you know. There we go. That's looking. I'm liking that. Lions and... Oh, wait, who was that? Tiny Otter, thank you for the roses, my man. I appreciate you. You know what? We have a tradition around here. If you give a gift, you get a gift. So, my man, this one's for you. This little guy's going to live with you now. There you go. You get to name him. And, hey, don't feed him after midnight. Hide everything flammable in your house. And I apologize. Your house is never going to be clean again. But it's worth it to have a goblin, right? Your very own goblin to hang out with. All right, I'm kind of liking this as the shape for the Oasis. It's maybe still a bit big, actually. It's maybe a little bit big. I don't want it to dominate the desert. I think kind of like that could be good. What do we think? I think it'll really stand out once we put some trees around it and whatnot. Penguin will definitely... I think we'll have a pyramid in here. We're just not placing man-made structures yet. We're doing natural structures, natural areas. You think it's a little too big on the Oasis? Let me know. Let me know. Lines and Lore, you are doing the Lord's work, answering the questions about where we're making this. I appreciate that. Benji, you like the rivers? Thank you. I put a lot of work into trying to make them look at least somewhat natural. We even got our little oxbow going on here. Think it's a little too big on the Oasis still? All right, let's see if we can shrink it. Just take away the... We're going to cut down the edges a little bit. I don't want to lose its nice natural curve, so I'm going to try to follow it a bit. But let's see what we get here. And then round that guy out. Oh, that didn't round it. Round it out, he says. Immediately makes it sharper. Kind of like that. There we go. All right. That's a little bit smaller. What do we think? I think that looks good. That's a good size. When we look at the full map, the Oasis is like a visible element of it, but not so big that it dominates, right? Other name wasn't available. My friend, welcome in. Good to see you. Happy first Friday stream of 2026. Also, Ada, thank you for the roses. So, as I say, you give a gift, you get a gift. This goblin's yours. There you go. That guy's for you. You get to name him, and he's going to make a mess in your house, but he's really cute, so it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Sergey, you said, what's the red patch of land? So this is actually a reminder to, like, finish it out. This is the Dark Lord's domain, and if we go to the original map right here, it's this, the red land is all of this. It's his, like, lava trenches, his volcano, his lake, all that evil, legally distinct Mordor. That's what the red land is. I just haven't finished detailing it. These little yellow lines are my quick draws of the lava going through there. Also, someone asked about Cyprus. Yep, that's Cyprus in the bottom. My family's from Cyprus, so I had it in as an Easter egg, but it was not hidden enough, and everybody clocked it, so I said, you know what? We're just putting Cyprus in. Cyprus exists in my fantasy world now. All right. People asking what the book's about. Thank you. Here's the book right here. Wriggly Little Hands. It is a comedy fantasy about goblins on a road trip to retrieve the Dark Lord's doomsday weapon and help him defeat those pesky forces of good. but they're goblins. So they're terrible at their job. They get distracted. General chaos, such as pictured here, ensues, and they completely get off track. It's been described as a D&D campaign where no one put any points into intelligence, and the DM's taking a shot after every chapter. So if you're in for some zany wackiness, it's an audiobook, an ebook, a paperback. It's all linked in my bio. Please check it out. Star, yeah, it is a physical book. It's paperback, as well as an audiobook and an ebook. So whatever format you like to read in. Thank you, Mag. I'm glad you like the pitch for the book. It is definitely my favorite book that I've written. Why are my cacti so small? Gotta size you guys up a little bit. Here, we're gonna do what we always do and compare them next to another tree. So that's about the right size. I scaled them up extra, so they're 141%. Someone asked map draft or dungeon craft. This is Incarnate for maps. And someone else asked how many books I've written. Here's my book ones, at least. Fantasy up top, Lit RPG down below. They're all linked in my bio, but I've published 11 books now. And these are at least the book ones in those series. So there's a lot of stuff to choose from if that's what you're looking for. But at the moment, I'm looking for some cactus. We got to get some cactus around our ways. Oh, no, not cactus. It was palm trees. Palm trees is what made it look good last time. I feel like those also look too small. Rose, you said I should make a biome that's the remains of an old one that got washed out. Well, I have something like that. If we come over to here, this big crater, which we got to polish up, but the lore behind this is the sea actually ended right here. This was the end of it. And this is actually a wizard's experiment gone wrong. And he accidentally opened up a massive crater. And then the ocean flowed in. So he accidentally extended the ocean a little bit too far. Whoopsie daisies. Josh, a very small group of cacti surrounding one very large one called King Saguaro. All hail the cactus god. Behold his prickly majesty. Alright, let's get these palm trees scattered about. I think on my last one, yeah, I did like a little grove type vibe with them, right? I like that. Let's try to do that again. We're going to do a little... We're going to pick where the oasis would be like most fertile, I guess. And let's put a grove of trees there. I think that would be a cool way to do it. And then we'll just splotch them around the edges in other areas. Maybe even like a mirrored grove, like right over here. Could be kind of cool. I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing there. Now let's throw some hills. I want to put some hills that kind of hem in the water. Maybe explaining why there's water there. So let's go over here. We're going to grab just one of these hills. We're going to put it on over here. And let's tuck it in. Ooh, I like this. So hold on. We're going to do a cool... One of my favorite tricks here. You see how that hill extends into the water a little bit? It kind of doesn't look great. What we're going to do is we're going to add just a little bit of land. Right in there, kind of following that line. And now it looks like the hill like bleeds down into the water, right? And it's containing it in a bit. I love that trick. Lines and lore, you're incredible. Thank you very much for your kind words, as well as your effort in answering questions asked in chat. I appreciate you. Thank you for the follows as well, everybody. Y'all rock. Alright, so we need to get my hills the right size. This hill is scaled to 82%, and this one's 111. So we're gonna... That's not what I wanted to do. Oh boy, that's really not what I wanted to do. That hill got a little bit big. What do we think? Is this the right size for it? Whoops. 500% might not be the scale that we're looking for. Either. I just set up keybinds for my scenes on Incarnate, but that means when I hit my numpad, typing in sizes, it changes scene like this. So maybe we have to deactivate that. I'll make a note to do that after stream. There we go. All right, now let's get these hills in here. I don't think this is quite the one, right? Let's see. There's different types of hills. We're just going to plop a bunch of them down here and see if we find one. Ooh, I like that guy. There we go. Okay, we got some winners in there. We got some winners. I'm going to delete the ones I'm not a fan of at the moment. These three I like. So let's use these around our oasis. Ooh, I like that one there. I like how the lines kind of line up right here. You know, the curve of the lake and then of the oasis and then the hill. That's fun. And then maybe one more right down here, blocking the oasis a little bit. See how, so these hills have a little bit of fill color on them. So when I drag them over the water, see how it kind of blocks it? That's a cool way, I think, to show a little bit of depth. And then maybe I'll put one more hill off to the side here to kind of show this is a little bit of a range of hills. Yeah, we can do a zoom out. It's been a minute since we've shown the full map. There we go. It's a little bit bigger than just our oasis that we're working on down there. The app is Inkarnate we're using to make this. And it's for my book, Wriggly Little Hands, which is linked in my bio. Or you can see it. Oh, perfect, Duchess, you asked what it's about. So I was just going to say, good timing. Here's the book. It's linked in my bio. It's a paperback, ebook, audiobook, any format you want, but it's about a bumbling family of goblins trying to go on a quest for the Dark Lord and messing it up at every opportunity. I mean, look at these guys. You can't trust them with important quests. You can imagine things go off the rail pretty quickly. Daily D&D, you said you've used Inkarnate, but it never looked this good. It's just practice. It's just practice. I've been doing this on stream for 40 streams now. For making maps. You really just kind of figure it out, you know, the more you go, is all I can say. I have no traditional art skill or anything. It's literally just been me playing around with this and kind of getting there, I guess. I wish I had more distinct advice for you on the map making. Duchess, you like the designs of the goblins? Thank you. Shout out to Ivan Shavrin, my cover artist, man. He rocked it. I love his work. In fact, he also did, here, if we go over here and do this one. Oh, that's the wrong image. Okay, hold on. My image broke, so let me make a reminder to fix that after stream. I was going to show you more of Ivan's art, but my image broke, so we'll show you next time. Revelo Inkarnate has a free tier. It also has a paid tier. I think several paid tiers now that they just upgraded. Yeah, different ways to use it. All right, I want to change the color around this oasis a little bit. I want to show that it's got a little bit of life going on, right? So we're going to grab a little bit of a light green on a low opacity, and I'm just going to kind of darken the land around here with it. Let's make sure I'm painting foreground. Yep, that's what I want. Yeah, see, it's just giving a little bit of green around here. Just a little bit, but I like how that's hinting, hey, this oasis has got a little bit of life going on. There we go. That's super slight. Probably not even noticeable, but I'm a fan of it. All right, y'all, we added the oasis to the desert. What else do we want in there? Josh, did I take inspiration from other maps when making this? Not really. Mainly, I was trying to make it not look like any recognizable geography on Earth, aside from literally putting the island of Cyprus in the map. I didn't want it to look like anything in particular, you know? And I also have places that are mentioned in the book, right? Oh, goodness. My scenes are falling apart. There we go. I have places that are mentioned in the book specifically, so I had to put those on the map. And we're making this with inkcarnate.com for all those folks asking. Okay, so this map here was practice for various things, and we learned a lot about deserts in it. So I think the next element we should put in our desert today, I kind of like this like mountain area we got going on with a city tucked into it. I might want to do something on this map with that. Mountains in the corner are always fun. So let's grab an existing mountain. There's a specific one I'm looking for. There we go. This guy. That's the crater. Oh, I grouped them together, didn't I? Yeah, oh no, I didn't. It's right there. Let's just grab it from the mountains. Go to our catalog. We'll look up mountains. And that's the guy I'm looking for. This one right here. And others like it. I don't know why that one's upside down. Fixed. Alright, and now we're going to build ourselves a little mountain range in the corner. Finesse, you said, is it hard to make a book? I'd say the writing is the easy part. It's the publishing and the selling that's difficult. That's where things get challenging. Thank you for all the follows today, folks. I seriously appreciate y'all. Alright, we're going to do these mountains right here on the edge. Oh, you can't see that. Sorry, guys. I think that would be cool. Let me look how I did it here. Oh, it was a mix of normal mountains and jutting mountains, we'll call them. So let's get some of those in there. I want this guy, but I want to flip it. I want these mountains to be off to the side. So where's my rotation options? There we go. And I need to grab some of these guys as well. And we're going to scale them up. These are slightly bigger mountains than we're using in other areas of the map. Abdullah, you said good luck on the book. Well, thank you, my man. I appreciate you. If you want to grab it, it's linked in my bio. It is out now, even though we're finishing the map here. Alright, let's put I want another mountain in there, another type. Give me a big one. Yeah, like that. There we go. We're going to make this one a little bit bigger, and we're going to put it right down here. Honestly, so guys, so what I like to do around the edges of the map, and I'm not doing it anywhere else on the edges yet, but I want to suggest there's a mountain range that runs off to the southwest here. So what I'm going to do is I'm almost going to turn these mountains into a decorative element. So I'm going to make them really big here, like bigger than should make sense. And what we're doing is we're kind of blending the actual map into a bit of a decorative element running off the side of it. I think it's kind of a cool mix of actual topography and just we're getting a bit stylistic, kind of like an illuminated manuscript, you know, from back in the day. And then we'll take these jutting rock mountains that we have, and we'll just put them kind of coming off the sides. Three might be too many. Maybe we just do 2 of them. I need a different type of them, though. That's not it. That guy's kind of cool. We haven't used that yet. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Something a little different than we're using up top. But where to put it, though? A lot of new folks here. Thanks for tuning in. This is our Fantasy Map Friday stream. Here's the full zoom on the map if you want to see it. We're making it in Inkcarnate. I'll put it in chat for you. It's an online map maker. There you go, Inkcarnate. And this map is for my book, Wriggly Little Hands, which is out now, linked in my bio. But here's the cover, if it looks interesting to you. It's a comedy fantasy about goblins on a road trip to serve the Dark Lord, and all the ways they messed that up. They might be on a top secret quest to retrieve his doomsday weapon for him. And Spoilers, but they're goblins. You know they're going to do a terrible job at this. It's going to go off the rails very quickly. It's an audiobook, it's an ebook, it's paperback. You can check it out in any format you prefer. Alright, I think one more mountain in there. And I need to make this guy like really big. I want this to kind of bleed into a decorative element at the edge. Yeah, like that. And now, another trick that I love to use, we have our sand here, right? The desert's very sandy. I'm going to grab a darker brown color with a 50% opacity probably, and we're going to paint these mountains a little bit darker. And I'm going to drop the opacity now to like 20%, and we're going to paint the edge of the ground around them. That way it looks like it's transitioning from a sandy area. You know, it's sandy down here. We're transitioning from that to a rocky area where the mountains are. And then on the very edge of the map, we're going to do a really high opacity so that we're basically suggesting a border on the map. And now when you zoom out and look at the whole thing, just kind of gives it that depth and color. I think I might have gone a bit heavy-handed, so let's lighten it up just a bit. We'll grab our sand color on a low opacity, and I'm just going to do a couple clicks in here. See how it's brightening in it just a bit? And now we'll go back to the brown and just a little bit on top. There we go. All right, I'm a fan. I like that. I like those mountains down there on the bottom. It's giving Aragon vibes, Pickle. Yeah, man. Hey, Pickle, one of my pinned videos you should go watch. It's gushing over the Aragon map. I'm a big fan. I feel like those mountains are really cool down there in the corner. I almost kind of want them to spill over a little bit more. I kind of want to have them run further along. So let me do this. Let me grab them. We're going to move them kind of like this. And then I'm going to put a few more of them running off to the edge here. I think that would be fun. Ooh, I like that little one too. And this guy here. And this guy here. No, I'm just placing these for the moment. Don't worry. We're going to move them to look better. That one's too big. We're going to take this one, make it smaller. Rotate it. Flip it, rotate it. And I'm just going to kind of have these running off to the side. Kind of to like show, hey, these mountains actually run along the bottom of the map to some degree. And they get smaller as they go. Maybe this one should be bigger. Kind of like that. This one should be smaller. We're going to put this guy here. And then the smaller one here. I don't know. Do we like it? I gotta paint it. I gotta color it. Could be pretty cool though. What do we think? Do we like those mountains down there? I think it might be a bit crowded. Did I use too many perhaps? You know, Rain, that's a good question. I don't have a name of the world. I've just been calling it the World of Wrigley because it's from the book Wrigley Little Hands. But I'm not sure. I need to name the world at some point. I do think it's a little bit heavy on the mountains. Ooh, guys, we got to do something here. I just saw an opportunity. See how there's kind of a natural path between these mountains here? We're going to put a little road in there. So watch, we're going to move this mountain. Where is it? Grab it. To the side. Move this one a little bit like that. And I'll put this with a finalized color later, but for now we're going to mark it with white. I'm going to paint in a little road that runs from the oasis. Oh, the opacity's too low. Hold on. Opacity up a bit. I'm going to put a road that runs from the oasis through here and winds off into the mountains. That's going to be cool to do. Roads are another element that we will add later. I absolutely love a good road. You know, something like that. I just think it's cool how it can wind between the mountains, you know? There we go. All right, we'll get a quick full zoom out on the map again for those that are new, just joining. Welcome in, everybody. I'm author Alex Knight, if you don't know me. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7 a.m. Central Time. And I am making this for my book, Wriggly Little Hands, which is linked in my bio. One of my mini books. Feel free to check them out if you want to see what they're all about. Job, you said, why is Cyprus there? So the story on that is my family is from Cyprus, and I had included Cyprus as an Easter egg in the map, but it was way too obvious. I had an island that looked kind of like Cyprus, and everybody was like, that's Cyprus! So I just said, you know what? We're just going to make it full on Cyprus, and now canonically Cyprus exists in this fantasy world. And I'm here for it. I love it. All right. I think I like these mountains down here on the edge. I think they could do better. They could be better, but for now, I'm gonna leave them there, and maybe we'll improve them on a later day. Because sometimes when I'm not sure on something, on the map, if I'm not sure if I love it or not, you just gotta let it sit for a little while and then come back to it. It's kind of the test of do I like it or not. If I come back on the next stream and I still like these mountains, then they get to live here. Alright, we're just going to paint them in a little bit. Get these peaks painted. And now I think we're going to soften some of the edges. There we go. There's our mountains, y'all. I guess this one's kind of been abandoned out in the middle of nowhere. Sorry, buddy. You didn't make the cut. Looks like the RDR2 map. Man, I love RDR2. Such a good game. Nomad, we use Incarnate for this. I'll put it in chat for you there. It's an online map maker. Arthur, remind me what Sothorios from Game of Thrones is like. I know the name. I read the books, but I'm blanking on what region that was. Pun, yeah, we are going to add towns, villages, country borders, stuff like that. That all just comes a little bit later. Right now, we're just getting our geography in here. All right, what else for our desert? Chat wanted to work on the desert today, so here's my practice desert that I'm kind of referencing. Dunes, you need like a Dune Sea type vibe, right? And I really like this dead forest, so I think those are kind of two concepts we can incorporate here. I also need to work on this canyon a little bit. I wanted it to look like the river, or the ocean, flowed in, and then eventually kind of got cut off and dry. So let's give that a try, huh? Reduce our brush size a little bit. Let's go down to maybe a 6 on brush size. Nah, that was still too big. Maybe a 3. And we're going to link these waterways. There we go. I kind of like that. I think that looks good. And now we're going to go to add, and I want to chop up this water just a little bit with some really small clicks. I think it looks cool when you just have a couple, like, pools remaining, you know? This is such a ridiculously tiny detail. I feel like no one will ever see it, but I apologize. This is my OCD. Okay, we're going to connect it like that. Now we're going to add, and we're just going to cut away some pieces of it so it looks like the water is drying up. I think it needs a big break in there, kind of like that, and then another one like there. There we go. We have our ocean water that used to flow in there is now dried up. We're using Incarnate to make this, and for those asking, it is for my book, Wriggly Little Hands, right here, which is a comedy fantasy about goblins on a road trip, basically. if that road trip were to retrieve the Dark Lord's Doomsday Weapon to help him defeat those pesky forces of good. But they're goblins, so you know they mess it up at every turn. It's linked in my bio. It's out in all formats now. If you want to check it out, please do. I'd appreciate it. I do stream 3 days a week, but my full-time job is I am an author, so writing and selling books is how I make a living. Someone asked if I stream anywhere else. I also stream on Video App. Starts with a Y and ends with a tube. It's linked in my bio. If you want to watch there, you're welcome to. I'm live there, and replays of all my streams are saved there. Here's a quick zoom out for our new people joining. Should add a Lego store. AJ, I'm glad you like the map, my man. Thank you. All right. Let's go. Let's do our... we need some cactus in the desert, of course, of course. And I wanted that dead tree forest somewhere. I kind of feel like I want to put it down here. That might be a little bit too tight, though, because we kind of have this pass through in the mountains. That's kind of a route of travel. And then also, if you're not using that, you can come around the mountains here, and there's supposed to be like a little road through here. I don't want to tighten this gap too much, but I guess we could put the dead tree forest right here. I'm kind of liking that. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my paintbrush. 48 opacity is probably a bit strong. Let's go down to like 30, make it a bit bigger, and I'm just going to do kind of like this. This area that I'm painting brown is going to be the forest. So that's just kind of my own reminder of where the forest is going to go. Ooh, actually, hold on. Where was that? Someone said add Figarland said add a area where dragons live. So there is a dragon in book 1, and she does live in the desert. So I do need to make her home here at some point, because she is a character that we visit in book 1. All right, let's go ahead and do our dead tree forest here. We got to name it too. We haven't even started doing names on the map. That's going to be a whole other adventure. Always a fun one. Forests are an interesting thing to do because you don't want to. I mean, you need them to be a certain amount of dense, but you don't want them to just look like someone threw a bunch of trees down on the map. You know. So you kind of, I don't know, you just got to kind of finesse them. You got to feel it, you know, to figure out how you want the spacing on the trees and everything. It's very much, you know, placing trees by vibe. Ooh, you know, it'd be a cool lore idea, guys. Hold on. We have this forest down there, right? This dead tree forest. I want to put one very living tree in the middle of a clearing in this forest. I feel like that's such a good opportunity for creepy lore. Like, why is there all these dead trees in this inhospitable environment? And then right in the middle of them, there's going to be a nice little clearing. And we're going to put one tree that is perfectly healthy. And there is nothing suspicious or ominous about this at all. Absolutely nothing. Now, what tree are we going to use? Yeah, that's who said that? Ronnie. Absolutely. Tree of Life takes the life force of living things around it. That's exactly kind of what I'm hinting at. So let's look at... go here, and I'm gonna pick a tree out with y'all. So let's go to the catalog. Let's type in, not that one. Let's go to the catalog again. We're gonna type in tree. Oh, there is a big spooky graveyard tree. I feel like I want one of these. Oh, you can't see it. Let's move it like this. There we go. I feel like I want one of these guys. Maybe the big willow. Could be a pine tree. That makes like the least sense in there. Number 7. I don't see a 7. Oh, because it's not actually. It's how many extra models they have. What would be the weirdest tree to find in a desert, guys? Like, what do we think would be the weirdest one? Maybe, I feel like a pine tree would be it, because like that's a cold. A willow also could be it. I think willows are just inherently more creepy, right? Yeah, let's go with the willow. Willow trees are just, I don't know, man. They got swamp vibes. Swamps are kind of ominous. I feel like that's just the creepier option. So we're going to paint it a little bit green, our swamp green. Right in here. And I want to make the center of it even more green. One perfect little tree doing completely healthy in the middle of this desert. Surely no foul magic is at play to make this happen. I'm sure it's a very peaceful, happy place, and everybody's welcome. Harry, you said, what's the book about? Well, thank you for asking, my man. The book is right here. It's linked in my bio. It's a comedy fantasy about goblins on a road trip to retrieve the Dark Lord's doomsday weapon. But, y'all, goblins, don't entrust them with important tasks. I mean, just look at what's going on here. They're not going to do a good job. And that's why the book's fun. It's linked in my bio if you want to check it out. I'd appreciate it. Jan, you're correct. This is made in Inkarnate. Spot on. Alright, I'm going to try to dense up this forest a little bit because someone in chat made a great suggestion to have almost paths through the trees that are kind of inviting people in towards whatever this ominous tree is. So we're gonna do exactly that. I think, and I'm going to mark them with white for now. We'll turn them into an actual kind of road a little bit later in the process. But for now, we're just going to put a little bit of white right here. That's still too opaque. Come on, Alex. Kind of like that, like this, and like this. There's our 3 paths in. And we'll make those more obvious later. I know it would make the most sense, kind of, to have a path right here, but I kind of want there to be this wall of trees around it. It should be a secluded place, essentially. So I'll just dense up the rest of this forest as well. Alright, there's our dead tree forest. Let's get a little brown painted in there as well for the change in the ground around it. Not sandy in the forest, but rocky. Sorry, y'all. I was working off screen. There we go. Let's make this brush small. We're going to do a little bit of brown right in here as well to really make that green that's in there stand out. Maybe a slightly higher opacity. That was too high. You see, I bill this stream as map making, but realistically it's just me finagling opacity percentages to get them exactly where I want them. Alright, let's get a zoom out. It's been a hot minute. Thank you for the follows, everybody. I appreciate you, seriously. Alright, there's our full map as it stands right now. What do we think? How do we like it? Star, welcome back. Oh, Sir Paint over on Video App. My man, what's up? He said willow tree is the best option for our creepy tree down there. Feel like you see a lot of pine in deserts. Desert forest, kind of like the high desert in the west of America, like around like Flagstaff and stuff. I've definitely seen some conifers around there. Roberto, Cyprus is there because my family's from Cyprus. We put it in as an Easter egg. And now the running joke has just turned into Cyprus exists canonically in this fantasy world. So we're just straight up Cyprus exists in it. So there is a Pun Pun, you said a frost biome. So we haven't started working on it yet, but up north here, this big white area is going to be all cold. And you can kind of see we have a bit of a transition marked here with like temperate kind of around here, and then it gets cold north of this line. And then this is our little autumn valley. Like it's eternally autumn in this little valley here. I love this place. So yeah, we're going to have a cold biome up north. Someone said an area with lots of caves. So actually, this big pit, it looks like a pit. I'm really trying to show that it's a cutout, and I'm showing what's underground. It comes through better on the original map, the smaller one. But that is an area called the Caves of Whispering Web. You'll see it early on in Book 1. That is an underground cave complex full of gigantic spiders and other horrible things. And our main character goes to that very early on. Someone said, make the island next to the ice biome a lava volcano. Yeah, like an Iceland vibe, kind of. We do have a big volcano right in here. I just haven't finalized it. It's all very rough sketch. So that's going to be our volcano for the map, really. Almost the same as Middle Earth? Oh, I disagree. How is it the same as Middle Earth? I mean, I guess the mountains kind of have a right angle like Mordor, but I mean, come on now. Middle Earth is divided down the middle by the Misty Mountains, with a lot more land than this. I guess this would be like Harad, but Harad is off the map way to the south. There's no coast on the western side. That's all the brown lands, or the brown wastes, I believe it's called. You ordered my book? Who said that? Beefy Boy, thank you, my guy. I appreciate you. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. Make a tropical area? Yeah, we're going to have... this is a big Amazon rainforest area right in here. I just haven't put the trees in yet. So this is going to be a big swampy area. And then probably this like delta where all these islands are is probably going to be pretty tropical as well. For those asking, the book is right here. Wriggly Little Hands. It's a comedy fantasy about goblins on a road trip through this world. And it's linked in my bio. If you want to grab a copy in any format, just check my bio. It's linked there. So Shiv, you've asked, or is it Shiv? Yeah, Shiv. You've asked a good question about the ocean. So I'm not going to color the ocean too much on this map. I have in past maps. Let me grab one of those. Here we go. As it loads up here. On past maps, I have colored in the ocean to show depth, but I'm trying to give this a vibe as like what you'd see in the front of a book. So it limits your color choices a bit. If this loads, I'll be able to show you my ocean colors. Eric, the book is a chapter book, typical novel, but it does have drawings from an artist friend at the beginning of every chapter. So it's got some fun little things like that in there. Y'all, this was an older version of this map when I was using it in a different art pack with different colors, and you can see that like I was trying to show there's like a big trench here, right? So I made the water darker. That's something I've done in the past, but this would look out of place in the front of a book, right? Maps and books are typically more of a parchment kind of faded vibe. So I'm going for that vibe more here. It's not as vibrant, it's not as pretty to look at, but it's a different vibe, and I like it though. You're talking about this circle right here, or are you talking on this map? Yeah, you're talking about this one. So this is a wizard's mistake. He accidentally blew up a large part of that land, and because this was a rough draft of the map I'm working on, I put it in here. So that's the ocean used to stop right there, and a wizard experiment gone wrong made this big kaboom, and then the ocean flowed in to fill it. This is very much a world where chaotic events like that can happen. We're making the map through inkcarnate.com. It is an online map maker. All right, you chat voted that we work on the desert today. Let me just get a little zoom. I want to see... Yeah, it's doing pretty good. We got our dead tree forest with the creepy one living willow tree that's definitely not magical or insidious. in the middle of it. We did our little like kind of lagoon marsh area where the mountains dip for a moment and the humid, wet air of the rainforest flows to meet the desert. We did our oasis. I think we need some dunes and some cactus in here now to really kind of complete this desert. So I'm thinking this peninsula is going to be our dune area. So let's do that. Let's dune that. There we go. We can grab a sand dune or 5. And we're going to get them sized. This is the size that we want. We're going to put them in here. And then figure out what our dune area is going to look like. Now, when placing an element, I always compare it to another element on the map. So, for example, these are hills right in here. I'm going to put my sand dunes next to it. And I want them to be about the same size. And they are. There we go. So the scale 122 is the scale I'm working at for my sand dunes. So let's make sure my existing ones are at that scale, and it looks like they are. So that's about the correct size for the dunes. We can fine-tune it if we want, but for now, let's go ahead and place some dunes in here. I always struggle with making sand dunes look natural. I feel like I get their scale wrong frequently, so bear with me for a minute on this part. I think they need to be a little bit smaller, honestly. Maybe 100% on the scale. Yeah, that's going to look better. Alright, and we definitely need more of them. I'm just going to throw a whole bunch down, and we're gonna move them to kind of make sense. Pun, yeah, I am using premium features for this map. Since I stream the map making, I was like, I might as well have access to the all the premium stuff. So yeah, this is Incarnate Premium or Pro. Oh, I'm so bad at dunes, y'all. I don't know how to make them look good. Let me look at my map where I actually am happy with them. All right, so they're kind of spread out more on this map. Maybe, and there's a little bit different sizing. So let's try that here. I'm just so, I don't know. I don't feel it. I don't feel the vibe. They're too uniform, you think? Let's get rid of that one. Maybe this guy's not the right one there. How about like this, right around here? Ooh, I like that, Rihanna. Start with a big one in the center, and then we're going to make smaller ones. So let's do a big one like this, and then maybe another big one like this. Let's kind of get those in there, and then we're going to do some smaller ones coming out from them. I like that. I like that idea. That size variance is probably pretty important for making this feel a bit more natural. Yeah, I'm just really bad at this. This is one of the areas that I really got to work on. Thank you for the follows. I appreciate you. Appreciate you willing to tune in and hang out with me. Kick off our Friday. Meg, you say overlap them a little bit? Yeah, maybe they're too disparate. Ooh, okay. Meg, you're cooking. You're cooking with that. That was an idea. I'm here for it. Hold on. Something's kind of working. Ooh, I love this one with the swirl. Yeah, the overlap is kind of working. I still don't love it, but it's looking better, right? It's looking better. And the main concept with these maps, you got to remember, it's meant to be viewed at like this level of zoom. So things need to look good, not just on the micro, but also on the macro. When you zoom out, it still needs to kind of make sense. I'm going to go ahead and group these three together. Oh, well, I guess I grouped two of them together. That'll be all three. Kind of like that. I think these two should stay together. I like them. They work well. These two work well. Group you guys up. And now these are kind of like elements that work for this, right? So we're going to space these around. I want to put a dune down there in the south, but I want it to be a specific one. We got to figure out what type we want. I think that guy's good. Let's grab this one. Nope, not that one. Too distinct. This guy. There we go. And get it just kind of overlapped nicely. Alright, that's okay. I'm not in love with it. I'm not in love with it, but it's not bad. If we zoom out, like, it's okay. It's okay. It's a start, right? It's a start. Wooden, we're using Inkarnate to make this. It is an online map maker. Yeah, something's off about it, right, Captain? I fully agree, and I'm not sure what it is. It's better than it was. I'm going to say that for sure. But we're just going to keep finagling until we kind of figure out. It's the shape. It's the general shape being indicated by them. It feels wrong for some reason. I'm not sure why, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, a little too close to the coast, perhaps. I could see that. I could see that being the issue. Maybe these ones that are bigger need to be down here, so they're not right up on the coastline. We'll put them kind of like right there. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Some cacti would not be a bad ad. We'll get some of those in the desert too. I think there might just be too many as well. Too many sand dunes. Ooh, okay, hold on. Kind of putting those closer together, I do like how it's starting to look. I'm going to grab all of these, and we're going to try something. Let's move them down. I almost feel like it's just their closeness to the coast is the problem. It looks weird to see sand dunes next to the coast. That's not like a natural phenomenon that doesn't happen, but it does look a bit strange, you know? This is one of those things where I think we're just going to have to leave it for a minute, come back to it on the next stream, and see how we feel about it. Sometimes you got to sleep on it, you know? I think that looks pretty good like there. Like that's the best it's looking so far, I think. It's a good start. It's something. All right. That's the happiest I've been with it so far. Alright, so we'll do a full zoom out. It's been a minute since we did that. There you guys go. Here's the full map. And for those asking, we're doing this on Inkarnate.com. I'll put the name in chat for you. There you go, Inkarnate. And I said we also wanted to do some cactus in the desert region as we continue along with it. So let's get some cactus just kind of interspersed. And let's make sure they're the right size next to trees. Yeah, see, they're way too small right now. We got to size that cactus up a little bit. There we go. Pale, I'm making this map after the book's already out. So book's right here. It's linked in my bio if you want to check it out. Please do. But there are a lot of places mentioned in the book that I am putting on the map. So we're kind of stitching them all together, you know? And right now, that means putting some cactus in. I'm trying to think about where the cactus should go. And I have no answers on that. Probably around the canyon. I do like them being around this canyon. That's kind of a cool idea. Yeah, that looks good actually with the cactus near the canyon. Someone asked how many books I've written. Here's my book ones, at least. It's fantasy up top, lit RPG on the bottom. But I've written probably 13. I've published 11. They're all linked in my bio if you want to check them out. This is the newest one. It's very silly. This one's like Fantasy Jurassic Park. And this one is like Dragon Ball Z, I guess, I would say. So if you want to check them out, I appreciate it. While I do stream, my full-time job is actually as an author. So selling books is how I stay alive. So if you want to help with that, I appreciate that. And you get some good books in exchange. I like the concept of the cactus living around the canyon. Rafi, thank you. To hit 6,000 followers, rock on, my guy. Oh, appreciate you noticing that. Thank you, everybody, for the help with that. I appreciate it. Wiggly Woo, this is not inspired by the Avatar The Last Airbender map. Though I do like that map. It's an awesome map. I'm trying to make this one pretty natural, pretty normal, you know, like no real inspiration. It's all original, I should say. And chat's helping with a lot of it, too. Taking suggestions and working them in. All right, let's work on this canyon a little bit. One thing that I know I've been meaning to do on this canyon is I want it to have a darker color. So we're going to paint in a little bit here, especially around the rim. It just makes it stand out in a good way. It's like almost like shading. Yeah, see, that's how you got to do it. And then we're going to do the inside of it a little bit too. And now we'll go back to our sand brush, make it a bit bigger, and we're just going to lightly kind of blend it all together here. There we go. Big fan. Anu, you said, where's the equator on this world? I would say if we zoom all the way out, it probably runs... Let me grab a brush you can see. There we go. It probably runs relatively close to right around the bottom of the map. Because you see it's kind of a little more temperate in here. And then it gets cold up north. So probably somewhere around like this strip. That's my best guess, at least. I'm not that great at geography. Okay, we're working on this canyon. I love my little waterway here that dries up. I have way too much fun with it. There's definitely going to be a city in here. We're not placing cities just yet, but there's definitely going to be a city. What else do we want in the canyon? Maybe some rocks, I guess. I think some rocks could do it. Matt, you said, what is the book about? Well, I'll give you the pitch real quick. Thank you for asking. Here's the book. It's called Wriggly Little Hands. It's a comedy fantasy about a bumbling family of goblins on a road trip to retrieve the Dark Lord's doomsday weapon and help him defeat those pesky forces of good. But they're goblins, so don't trust them with important tasks. You know they're going to get distracted. They're going to mess it up, and everything's really just going to go off the rails. So if that sounds interesting, it's linked in my bio. It's an audiobook, paperback, and ebook. Please check it out. I'd love to see what you think. And it takes place in this world. One of these days, I need to come in here and I need to do the places that are mentioned in the book in this map, because there's the goblins visit the desert, as well as they start in the swamp. They visit legally distinct Mordor right here, and a couple other places around here. So we gotta get those locations in. That's just a little harder because I have to go to the book and visualize the exact route the goblins took on their journey, and then stitch the places together along it. So that's gonna be a little bit of a tougher stream to do, a little less free flowing and fun than this one. Where are the goblins from? So if you see, guys, look at this little square that I got here, right? This is an old map that fits right here, and I'm expanding it out, right? So if we go to that actual map, here it is. It's a map we made on stream. The goblins start the book right down here in their little village. They're from the swamp of sadness and sweaty underthings. It's a lovely place to live. And they start there in their little goblin village, and they go up to legally distinct Mordor, where the Dark Lord is, to get their mission, and then off into the wide world they go. And that's why we need the bigger map. You can see the map we just looked at right here, and it overlays nicely on this one, but there's a whole wider world out beyond it. Jared, you asked if I have a Discord. I do. It's linked in my bio. We'd love to have you there. And in fact, Freddie, you said, when will this be out? It is out now. Linked in my bio as well. Audiobook, ebook, paperback. If you want to read it, listen to it, go for it. And if you do sign up for my Discord, or join my Discord, or sign up for my newsletter, which is, again, linked in my bio, you get 2 novellas for free, including 1 prequel novella for Wriggly Little Hands, and another prequel novella, this one right here. Here we go. Thief of Honor is a prequel to my more serious series, which is kind of like Dragon Ball Z inspired. And then the other prequel, the image is messed up at the moment, so you get a really zoomed in view of it, but I can try to grab the art real quick. Let's see. If we unlock it, grab it. That's not it. Here's the cover art for that prequel, just with all the text removed, because I accidentally broke this image before stream, so I'll have to fix it. There we go. Is the book cover originally made by me? No. Ivan Shavrin did the art for it. I could not do any work like that. He's an absolute genius with the paintbrush. So shout out to Ivan Shavrin for that. And for those asking if it's available in the UK, it is. It's on EU Amazon and UK Amazon, all the Amazons. So you can get it there or through local bookstores. Jared, it's this book right here, linked in my bio. Hinning, I did write the book. That is my job. I'm a full-time author. Part-time streamer, and yeah, it's my favorite book that I've written recently. Nice, Sophia. Good luck with the map. That sounds really fun. I hope it goes well for you. Let us know. Keep us updated. Mars, you said hello. I just want to ask where you're creating these medieval art-like maps. Incarnate. Incarnate is the website. It's an online map maker. Sir Paint over on Video App, you said... Oh, I think you're talking about the dunes, I believe. Oh gosh, I'm not ready to go back to the dunes. They're not done. They're not good. We got to figure out how to make them better, but we'll get there. Right now, though, we were working on our canyon. What else do we want in the canyon, guys? Let's take a little look at our assets that are available. Let's go to our catalog. I don't know. Like, we got like rock. Ooh, you know what? These I love the karst protrusions and these mesas. Oh, so useful for a canyon type environment. Hold on, let's look at that. That's gonna be what we need to do to the canyon. We got to get some of these guys in here. Josh, you said, what's the book based around? It's right here. It's a comedy fantasy about goblins trying to retrieve the Dark Lord's doomsday weapon to help him defeat those pesky forces of good. And as you can imagine, it immediately goes off the rails. It's linked in my bio if you want to check it out. Or you could read a sample or listen to a sample. feel free. I hope you enjoy it. All right, I think these rocks are a wonderful addition in here. We just got to find out where they go in the canyon and how big to make them. Jared, Incarnate had a free version. I believe it still does. They just went through a big update. I think they still have a free version. I'll have to double check. But that is what I'm using to make this, is incarnate.com. All right, so we got those mesas. What else do we want? I need other deserty type stuff. Let's just search desert and see if anything comes up. We got cactus. We got rocks. What else? Craters. Craters could work. We're kind of crater heavy already. We got trees. I think we're kind of reaching the bottom of this asset pack, at least for deserts. Deserts are kind of a hard one to fill, which that's also an important part of deserts is they are largely empty. Like they're not defined by big mountain ranges or, you know, dense forests. They need to be a little bit empty. Stefan, yes, I do sell hard copies of my books, paperback specifically. They're available through Amazon, and you can order them through bookstores on their website as well. Jared, I appreciate you, my guy. Thank you for saying so much. All right, I feel like these mesas could look good in here, but I just don't really know how to get it to fit. You know, it kind of makes the canyon look smaller by putting it in there. US Yar, I think it is. You said, who inspired me to become an author? I just read a lot as a kid. I really liked reading. And I think reading a lot of books, I just got to a point where I was like, hey, I could probably do this, right? Like, I could make my own books. So I just read a lot and then started writing in about middle school, and I've been writing ever since. But if I had to name my top 3 favorite authors, Terry Pratchett, for sure. I love his fantasy comedy, if you can't tell from my fantasy comedy that I'm writing. I also like Michael Crichton, wrote Jurassic Park, among many other tech thrillers, and Joe Abercrombie. Big fan of those. In fact, if we go over to here and we turn on the bookshelf, my favorite books are all, like, my finger cuts off, but that very top row, those are all my favorite books. You got Terry Pratchett, Joe Abercrombie, Douglas Adams, Michael Crichton, Raymond E. Feist, largely fantasy. STXR, you said, hello, I'll buy your book. When's it coming out? Well, my man, good news. It's out now. It's linked in my bio. You can get it anywhere books are sold for the most part. And it's an audiobook, paperback, or ebook. Your choice, whatever format you prefer. Peugeot, I make these in Incarnate. I'll put it in chat for you. It is an online map maker. It's a lot of fun. Honestly, I just kind of started playing with it as a video game. Like, I made maps for fun in my spare time, and then one day I mentioned on stream that I did that, and people were like, you should do that on stream. So here's some of the maps we've made on stream in the past, and we're going to just keep working on them, you know? I particularly like this one. This was a good... I really like how this one came out. I think it's interesting. This was the first one I ever did. It's a very detailed city. And actually, I am pitching the book that this map is for to a publisher now. So fingers crossed, I would love to, you know, lock down in advance and some publishing rights and write this world. It'd be really fun. You love the Lord of the Rings style? Well, thank you, man. I do too. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and it definitely inspires the style. So there aren't countries and kingdoms on this map yet. I mean, there are in the world. I just haven't added them. But we will get to adding them. Like, so you can see here how I've done it. I outlined the country, or the kingdom, with a color, and then put the border in white. So you kind of have three countries here. You have this one down south, if I lean out of the way, the orange one, and then you have the red one here, and you have this purple one in the desert. So I'll do lines of demarcation like that later on in the map process. Josh, do I like Game of Thrones? Oh yeah, for sure. I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. Read all the books, watched all the TV show. Would love to see it finished someday. John, there's the full map view for you. And yeah, we chat wanted to work on the desert region today, so that's what we did, but we'll have a lot more to work on too. Who's the one true king? Are you asking in Game of Thrones or in this world? Make a snow region? Yeah, there's this white up here is placeholder, but this is going to be our frigid snow region up north. We just haven't started working on it, but I'm excited because I'm kind of thinking this bay here, I want to like ice it over, make it like solid pack ice, you know? I think that'd be pretty cool. Oh, John, I can see it looking like Cyrodiil and Tamriel from the Elder Scrolls. I can kind of see that, you know, like this kind of looks like what is it called? What's that region? I'm blanking on it, but it looks like that region to the west of Skyrim. I guess Skyrim would kind of be like right in here. And then you do have the swamps with the Argonians and stuff down here. I can see it. I can see it a little bit. High Rock. Thank you, John. You're spot on. High Rock. Steph, you said, what do you think about the concept of my world has its own physics and laws of nature in world building? I mean, hey, go for it. I think you can do whatever you want in your own fantasy world, and I think it's a really cool opportunity for unique storytelling through aspects like that. For example, we'll use Game of Thrones. They have those really long winters, right? Does it make sense? Is it possible? I don't know, but it's also a world with magic, and that's kind of a cool concept, right? That you don't know how long winter is going to last each year. That's a really cool idea. So I say if you want to break the laws of physics in your world building, go for it, man. It could be awesome. Brad, we are using Inkarnate online to make this. It's an online map maker. And for those asking about the book, it's for, hold on, this book right here, which is already out now. It's my comedy fantasy about a family of goblins on a road trip to retrieve the Dark Lord's doomsday weapon, because they're going to help him defeat those pesky forces of good once and for all, except they're goblins. And as you can tell, they're not the most organized or disciplined, and they might get distracted by shiny things, go off on side quests, cause general chaos. It quickly goes off the rails. So if that sounds interesting to you, it's linked in my bio. Please do give it a look. I'd love for you to give it a read and let me know what you think. Username that doesn't have a username. You said I'm not a pro, but would it be cool to have like a no man's land, giant wasteland? So I haven't filled it in yet, but this area is called the Plains of Abandoned Hope and Paralyzing Fear. This is a comedy fantasy world, so we have silly names for places. But it's this big region here, this creepy gray kind of dead area. That is a no man's land, and it's going to go right in here because this red area, this is legally distinct Mordor. It's where the Dark Lord has his seat of power. So this is just a creepy plain right on the edge of it. We're using Inkarnate to make this, y'all, as our online map maker. I just put the name in chat. All right, well, I think I need to wrap up for today, folks. Been here for 2 hours now. Been a very productive stream, and I appreciate y'all joining me for it. I actually have to run across town because I am delivering some more books to one of the bookstores because, hey, y'all sold them out again. That's I'm in a couple bookstores around town, and y'all keep selling out all my copies. So I need to let's see. Can we see it on the bookshelf? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Wriggly little hands. I got my extra copies stacked up there. I got to take a few of those over to the bookstore. So I'm gonna go do that, But thank you for joining me on stream today. This has been a lovely stream. Y'all, if you haven't, please give me a follow. I stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m. Central. Every Friday, we make fantasy maps like this. On Mondays, I do Q&A. I take all your questions about the art of writing, the publishing industry, how to make books, anything like that. Always happy to talk about it. And then on Wednesday, it's a wild card. We don't know what we're doing. We might make maps. We might go over the basics of story structure. We might talk about books that we love. I often do one where y'all recommend books to me, and we pull them up on stream, and I read the opening lines, and then I break down why their opening lines are good. What is the author doing in the opening lines to attract your interest as a reader? Yeah. Anyway, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm here. If you want to check out my books, here's a lot of them. They're linked in my bio. There's something for pretty much everybody in there. And like I say, I stream for fun. I love being here with y'all, but my main job is being an author. So selling these bad boys is how I make money. So if you want to pick one up, it supports me, it supports the stream, and I'd love to listen or hear if you enjoy it. So let me know. Otherwise, as we wrap up today, let me say, as always, a very special thank you to Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com, who has provided our background music today with his songs Farm, Manor, Cottages, and Northern Glade. As well, a special thank you to community member Raffi the engineer. You might have seen him doing some work as a moderator today, pinning some message up there. Raffi, we appreciate you, buddy. He made our 5th background song, Midnight at the Round Table, which is playing right now, I believe. As always, a shout out to the rest of my excellent mods. Melissa Lee 28, One Happy Harpy, The Seth Ward, other name wasn't available, aka Slendy, Alicia T, and Aaron Winnick. I appreciate y'all. But most of all, chat, I appreciate you guys for not really needing to be moderated. You guys do a good job of just keeping it chill, keeping the vibes up, and I appreciate starting my weekdays with y'all here. So, like I said, we'll be back Monday. Until then, give me a follow if you want. I'd love to see you again. And my books are in my bio if you want to check them out. I hope you enjoy them. And yeah, great day with the map. Thank you very much, y'all. Have a lovely rest of your Friday. Have a lovely weekend. We'll be back Monday ready to go. But until then, peace out and be excellent to each other. See ya.